We are live. Welcome to Wednesday Night Hangout. My name is Jason Wethington, and we're going to be getting started here in just the next few minutes. It's 9:27 right now. We'll get started right at 9:30. I'll jump into things and be right with you. Hope everybody is doing well tonight. It's a beautiful Wednesday evening here in lovely northern Kentucky. I'm going to capture a little ukulele playing before we begin. I think that sounds almost in tune, yeah? A little off. Humidity's been really high here today. I don't know where you guys are at, but I have broken 3 strings in the last 2 days because of the humidity, even with air conditioning. Just a reminder, this is Jason Wethington. We're getting ready to launch here in just a couple of minutes. 1 minute to be exact. It's 9:29 here on the East Coast. Each and every Wednesday night at 9:30, we do a live Google Hangout. It is 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Time. I always get that confused. I'm not really sure. I'd like to see them do away with the Daylight Savings Time, but that's just me. I hope you are well wherever you are at. Thanks so much for joining. My name is Jason Wethington, and I am the one of the founders of the Versatile Performer. And our mission at the Versatile Performer is really to help magicians and any variety artist, really. I think it goes beyond just magic. But our mission is to help entertainers, magicians, jugglers, fire eaters, stilt walkers, whatever you do, to become better performers. And each week I do these live webinars to give a little bit of my experience, and hopefully that will help push you to wanting to become a much more amazing performer and to do this for a living. I've been blessed to have made a career out of performing magic, and I love to share a little bit of that experience with you guys. So with that in mind, I'm going to jump right in. Each week, this is called Lessons from a Life in Magic. Every single week, every single Wednesday, barring any technical issues, we are here and doing these live. So this week, we're going to be talking about some really interesting things. So the big question, when I first got into magic so many years ago, was I saw magicians and performers on television. And the big question that I had is, what makes a professional different? What is really different about them than me? And I got into performing late in life. There's my family is like I said, we're from Northern Kentucky, very blue collar. Um, there's no performers in my immediate family. I have a couple of cousins that got into music, but we're all about the same age. So we're the only ones that really went into entertainment as a career. And I always wondered when I first got started, what really sets the professional apart? What do they do differently than me? And I've been performing magic professionally for a little over 22 years. And during that time, I've been blessed to be able to hang out with and talk to performers in a wide range of uh, performance types. Like I said, from fire eaters and jugglers, stilt walkers, mimes, ventriloquists, storytellers. I've been just cigar rollers. I've been blessed to get to hang out in green rooms and talk to so many different types of people over the years. And all during that time, what I realized was that the things that makes professionals different aren't the tricks or the effects that they do. And let me preface that by saying those are really important, but they're not key to what really sets the professional apart. They are important, but not key. It's everything that surrounds the effects that turn them into magic for an audience. And again, it doesn't matter whether you're a magician, a juggler, fiery, whatever you do. It's everything that surrounds the effects that you're presenting to the audience that turns it into a magical experience for them. Because that's really what this is about, creating an experience for our audiences that they're going to remember. And the biggest thing, the biggest part of this puzzle is you. And that's really, I think, for the versatile performer, what we strive to get across and what we teach is bringing out your genius, finding what you're here to do and how to express that in the most effective way to connect with your audience. So really what sets professionals apart, it's the biggest secret, but it's with you the entire time. It's you. It's a really amazing thing. So on this webinar this week, the question that we're going to answer is, how do I start getting booked? Now this is going to be part one of a multi-part series. I'm going to go through each section of how to start getting booked with the mindset that you're not doing shows now. And how do you approach getting shows? How do you start this whole process? I don't want to jump in and talk about marketing techniques and best business practices just yet, because if you are just starting out, you may not be ready for those. And if we jump into marketing techniques and different ways of putting yourself out there, that may be a little bit too much early on. So I really want to step way back and get clear on what we need to do in the very beginning of getting booked. And I'm going to bounce just quickly away from this really quick back to stop screen sharing. There we go. All right. Hey guys. I'm Jason Weddington, and welcome again. Like I said, this week we're going to be talking about getting booked. And the most important thing, even though I said before that what separates the professionals from everybody else, it's not the effects or the tricks. And I said that those are important. Before you get booked, before you even consider getting booked, You need to make sure that you are ready to perform in front of live audiences. This is probably the biggest obstacle that I've seen in my career, not only on the performing side of things, being at auditions and seeing other performers, traveling around the world and getting to see performers, like I said, in many different genres. Um, make sure that you're ready to be in front of a live audience. And how do you do that? I think the most important thing is to find a coach or a mentor, somebody that you trust. It could be friends. I found in my professional working career that you gather around a really good core group of friends, of other professionals that can help guide you and give you an eye that they're not going to lie to you, basically. When you're first starting out, sometimes friends and families aren't necessarily the best barometer of whether or not you're actually ready to get out there. And I really encourage you to get out and practice in front of live people as much as you possibly can to get comfortable doing it. But you really do need someone who watches your act, who watches what you do, and will give you that really open, honest feedback, that constructive criticism to say, maybe you're not ready for that one. You might want to work on that a little bit longer, or giving you the tips and the techniques of really honing you to get you to a place where you can perform in front of people. So that's really, honestly, that's step number one about getting booked. Because what I've seen in my own experience of being in auditions is that there's sometimes people that are just not ready to be in front of a live group of people presenting their act. They're just not ready. They're not polished enough. They're not prepared enough. And it's good. It can hurt, especially if you're trying to get into cruise ships, or if you're working in theme parks. That's a very close, tight-knit group of people that hire in those industries. And if you get a bad reputation, whether it's through the entertainment divisions of those particular companies, or booking agents, talent agents in those industries, if you come out and you perform poorly at a couple of auditions, the chances are that you're not going to get asked to a lot of auditions, and that can hurt you in the long run getting booked. So that can set you back much further than if you just waited maybe a couple of months and waited for the next round of auditions to come, because those types of people, they're always looking for entertainers. In other industries, maybe not so much, but there are event planners and there's booking agents and all types of events that, again, if they see you and you do poorly at a couple of events that they show up at, you may not get asked back. So you could hurt yourself in the long run by not really being prepared. So that's step one. Make sure you're ready. Find some people that you trust. Again, whether it's a coach or a mentor, that's the direction that I took. Or whether it's a good, solid core group of friends that really want to see you perform and really want to see you do well, that are going to be honest with you. That's so key. So that's step number one. I'm going to jump back into my deck here. So now that you know the real step one, the place where I want to start with this is, who are your ideal clients, right? So when we first start thinking about getting booked, who is it that you really want to perform for? This is a big question. It may seem, it's 5 words, and it's a huge question, right? Really think hard about the people that you want to work for. And again, in the beginning, I always encourage my students and the people that I've coached in the past to really get out and work as much as you possibly can, really with the idea in mind to just get comfortable on stage. That's really important. Again, getting comfortable being in front of people, such a key aspect to this. But in the back of your mind, you really want to start thinking about who you want to perform for. And I put together a few questions to ask yourself. So, and to think about when you're thinking about the ideal clients, right? So what characteristics do they have? Like, what type of client do you really, are you wanting to go for? Do you want to go for a serious type of client? Do you want to go for, are you really comfortable in front of corporate groups? Are you going for more of an artsy theater type of clientele? Maybe it's like a hipster group, right? Hipsters are everywhere. They're taking over the planet slowly, one coffee shop at a time, one bar at a time. Maybe that's your clientele. Maybe it's the, I have some friends that only perform for clients that make a specific type, salary level, right? So I have one friend that will only work for millionaires. He performs in that genre. That's his only clientele. That's his defining characteristic that his client has, and that works really well for him. So think about what characteristics they have, and again, that maybe it's not just a salary, or maybe it's not where they hang out. It can be personality types too, right? And with that, think about, that brings me to my next point of what types of people do you love being around? Because again, like I said in the beginning, the key to all of this and what's going to set you apart from everyone else is you. So you really have to dig deep and discover who it is that you want to be around. I'm a type of person, I don't like being around negative people. I don't like negative mindsets. I don't like being around people with limited mindsets who don't have imaginations and can't think outside of the box and aren't dreamers. So my clientele that I want to attract are the opposite of those types of people. They're dreamers. They're people who have big imaginations and love to create. They're artistic in nature. They're friendly, jovial type of people that love to joke around and have really good senses of humor. Those are the types of clientele that I like to attract. So that's what I put out. That's who I go after, and those are the clientele that I will accept gigs from. So, and that's the only type of people that I'll accept gigs from. When I go through my booking process, when I get them on the phone before we book a show, the questions that I ask are very specific to draw out the personality of the person that I'm talking to, because I want to find out what type of person they are. So that's a really key thing for me. And the last point here is, what do they like to do? And this is going to help you when you do move into some of those marketing ideas and marketing techniques. Determining what do they like to do, where do they like to hang out, where are they at, will help you determine where you can market. So maybe, again, maybe if it's it's a hip type of audience, you're going to want to be in maybe a downtown entertainment district doing some of your marketing, connecting with local bars, maybe small black box theaters, really cool event spaces like that. Maybe that's where you need to market. Maybe if you're a wedding magician and you want to target the wedding groups, the wedding fairs, like the bridal fairs, you want to be targeting those types of people. But then also think about who shows up at those events and how can you connect with those people. So those are really key questions to start asking yourself on how to start getting booked. So getting clear about who your client is, your ideal client. What characteristics do they have? What type of person are they? Who do you really love being around? And again, in the beginning, you're going to want to take jobs that maybe in a year, 2 years of performing, you're not going to take those same jobs. You're going to evolve past the early stages. So, but in the beginning, maybe you're taking any gig that you can. It could be birthday parties. When I first started, I was doing birthday parties. I did bar mitzvahs. I did. I even worked at a wake before. I performed at a wake once. It was a pretty interesting experience. Um, I've worked in theme parks outside. I've worked in theaters. I've done television. I've done commercial work. I've taken a lot of different jobs. And over the years, I honed it down and honed it down and honed it down until I was really attracting the types of clientele that I wanted. So think about, who do you want to be around? What type of people do you want to be around? And start projecting that out there, because that's what is going to attract those people to you. There's in metaphysics, if you've ever heard of the law of attraction, that's really what this is about, is what you put out is going to attract back to you. It's really like a mirror type of a situation. So think about who you love being around, put that out there, be that person, and those are the type of people that are going to be attracted to you. And again, when you start thinking about where to market yourself, what is it that they like to do? So think about those 3 points when you think about creating your ideal client, your avatar for your client. So this is your homework, really, right? And I'm so glad. I wanted to keep this kind of short this week. I normally have in the past been doing these hangouts for, we've been on for an hour sometimes talking about some of the topics. And while that's great and that's awesome, some of them I'd like to keep a little bit shorter. And this week I think is one, because we're going to be doing a series of these. And I don't want to overwhelm you guys with a lot of information in each video. I'd like to keep the videos short, sweet, powerful, so that you can digest the information and really start thinking about how to apply it, because that's when the real work happens. Information, these videos are gonna be out for a while up on the YouTube channel, and you can watch and you can listen to them, and if you don't do anything with the information, it's just information and it's not really valuable. But once you put it into action, that's when the true value kicks in for you. So this is the homework for this week, thinking about your ideal client, right? So in marketing, this is essentially, you're creating a client avatar, who it is that you want to work for. And all of your materials, all of your flyers, your business cards, every aspect, your website, how you dress, the props that you carry, all of these things will express your ideal client and will speak to your ideal client. In marketing, it's a very niche area called branding. I used to be I worked with a branding firm, and this is what we helped our clients with, understanding that every aspect of your business will reflect the whole thing. It's kind of like a fractal, if you're familiar with fractal math. The whole is contained in every single aspect. And with magic and with performing, when you're thinking about getting booked, you really want to consider every aspect of what you're doing and how it's speaking to your client. Because even though if you go on the YouTube channel, you'll see that I've talked about a lot of different things: character development, using your voice, talking about a lot of different things. They're not really separate in the big picture. These are all parts of the whole, and they're all interconnected. So with this homework, start thinking about the qualities, the values, and the personal characteristics that you want your clients to have. And again, if you're a wedding magician, think about why a person at going to a bridal fair, or why a person at a that's having a wedding would even want a performer there. What values do you provide as well? So kind of think of those things in the background as you're doing these. But again, list the qualities, the values, and the personal characteristics you want your ideal client to have. And remember, again, this comes back to you. It's really important that what you love, what you want to express, is coming through in this, because you are going to attract the type of people that you present to the world. So again, think about every aspect of your business is going to be talking to this ideal client. If it doesn't, it will become very apparent very quickly that it's not speaking to your ideal client, because you won't be attracting the type of people that you want. You may get, if you want to hire people that are corporate clients, and on your business card you're advertising that you do birthday parties, picnics, and things like that. It may not be, it's not talking to a corporate crowd, and a person in a corporate setting may look at that business card, and maybe you have on there that you do sales meetings. Maybe you have on there that you do keynote events. But if you have birthday parties and you have family picnics, the client is not going to be able to translate what they're reading into what it is that they need from you. So that's why it's really important that your client avatar is very clear, and who your ideal client is, because once you get clear on that, you can start building all of those pieces to be speaking to that person of why they would want to hire you, right? So that's your homework. That's the and it may look simple, but this exercise, some people can get it if they have a very clear idea. They could get it maybe in an hour or two of brainstorming and really getting clear. In the sessions that I've done in the past with my clients, we go into it really, really in depth, talking about how old they are, what type of car they like to drive, what type of clothes do they like to wear, where do they shop. All of these things, getting as detailed as you possibly can, is going to help you later on. I kind of look at this in the same way as when you're developing your character. If you go and you watch my video on character development, I talk about how much time it took me to develop the character that I had when I was performing at Walt Disney World, because you go really into depth about creating these characters so that everything is crystal clear for you. And the deeper you go into creating your ideal client, the better able you're going to be able to speak to them in the future when you're out there really enacting some marketing techniques and things like that we'll talk about in later videos. But get really clear. Some people, this might take you a couple of days if you're new to the idea of creating client avatars or customer avatars. This could take you a couple of days. You could Google some resources on creating ideal client avatars. That may help you. But this is a general type of an idea. So qualities, values, personal characteristics that you want to have your ideal client have. So that is your homework before the next video comes out. And you can join these weekly hangouts. I'm going to be doing, like I said, a series of these. And in the past, I've just been advertising these on Google+. And I've gotten a decent amount of response. But I think what I'm going to try for our next series of videos, especially these, because I think there's going to be some really good value in these. And again, taking it from the idea that you are just starting out, that you've never booked a show before, and taking you through a process of actually getting out there and starting to approach clients. I think what I'd like to do is start advertising these strictly through my website and through my email list. So sending out specific links to you through email. So the way that we can do that is, well, first you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there's going to be other content that I'm going to be doing. I'll still do these weekly hangouts. We're going to be talking magic and some other cool stuff. But I think for these specific hangouts where we're talking about getting booked, I'd really like to do that through the email and kind of as an exclusive thing for members of my email list. So if you want to sign up for that, and I highly encourage you to, go to theversatileperformer.com and sign up. Right when you get to the home page, you'll see there's some images. You'll see a button to sign up for the weekly videos, and that's going to put you on a very specific email list so that you can get these exclusives. I'll also send you a free effect, one of my favorite effects that I've done for many, many, many years. I developed it years ago for, I was working for Philip Morris doing some in-bar promotions for them, and it's a cigarette or pen through quarter routine that's really, really awesome. Has gotten great reviews over the years. But I'll give you that for free. It's it's downloadable video that you'll get. It's a link, and so sign up through that email list there at the Versatile Performer, and you'll get that, and you'll also get the links to these hangouts on getting booked. Also, follow me on Twitter. Engage with me. I'm learning Twitter. I'm getting the hang of it. I'm kind of new to the tweet universe. Really enjoying it. My Twitter handle is @J, the letter J, Wethington, WETHINGTON. Follow me on there. I'm posting really cool content. I did a memorial to Lee Grable, who passed away, I believe the day before yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he passed away on Monday. If you're not familiar with Lee, he was an amazing, absolutely phenomenal magician. He passed the mantle of master magician onto Lance Burton, and just a really, really amazing performer. So if you go onto my Twitter, you'll see linked a couple of videos of some of his performances that are really cool. I think there's a coin routine from his show in the 40s and a card routine and I believe his daughter had posted those. So I shared those on my Twitter feed. So go there. Also, you can connect with me on Facebook. If you're on any of the Facebook magic groups, there's Full Circle Magic. It's a closed group. You can apply to have access to that group. And then there's I believe it's an open group, but I could be mistaken. It's All Magicians and Jugglers on Facebook. But connect with me on Facebook. That would be awesome to get to know you there. I share a lot of different things there as well. So thank you guys again for joining this week. It was awesome having you. And again, I'm going to go back just so you remember your homework to list the ideal qualities, values, and personal characteristics for your client, your ideal client that you'd like them to have. So that's your homework. Go to the website. You can post. There's on my contact page on the versatileperformer.com. You can post your answers if you'd like. You don't have to, but join us next week for another one of these hangouts, and we will be sending out the exclusive link to Getting Booked Part 2 through the email list. So thanks a lot, guys, for joining, and I will see you later. Have a good night, guys. Peace.